Hey guys, Dave the Station here. We are going to talk about some differences between hard armor or rifle plates and something like this, which is soft armor. So we'll start with rifle plates. Basically, body armor is broken down into two categories. There's soft armor and hard armor. Soft armor will protect you from handgun threats and down, and then depending on what kind of plate you have protection from rifles. This particular plate or these particular plates that I'm wearing are level 4 standalone. There's tons of different. Well, there's level 3 and level 4 rifle plates, and depending on what model you get, level 4s are these particular ones are rated for 6 shots of 7.62 armor penetrating rounds per plate. So this has the highest level of protection that you can currently get. So advantages to wearing rifle plates over soft armor are going to be you've got protection from everything. These will stop .22 long rifle up to 7.62 armor penetrating. That's going to cover just about every threat that's out there. This will protect you from fragmentation, stabs, whatever. But that comes at a limitation. It is a vest, so just keep that in mind. Other advantages to wearing a plate carrier with plates in it are going to be customization. So, most of the plate carriers out there have some sort of system, whether it be hook and loop or molly or whatever other versions are out there. You can add any sort of tactical pouch on there. You've got primary magazines, you've got flashbangs, you've got medical kits, fragmentation grenades, whatever. And you know exactly where they are. You can customize it to fit your body type. This particular carrier, I've got my primary mags out front, I've got some medical gear, but I leave my sides blank because I want to be able to draw my holster unobstructed. So you can fit it to your particular body type, and you can customize it to whatever mission you're going on. If you're going into like vehicle operations, I'm going to leave my back clean, so that way sitting in a car isn't, I'm not sitting forward because I've got gear in there or whatever. You can customize it to the mission. Other pros are plate carriers are super quick to take on and put on and take off. Usually they're either Velcro or buckles. They simply I can take this off and I just clip it right back on. No issues. Past that, these are pretty comfortable. Depending on the plate you get, some of the steel plates that are just flat, they're kind of uncomfortable, but for the most part, ceramic plates, SAPI plates, e-SAPIs, whatever, they've got curves to them, so they kind of conform to the chest shape. There's different, kind of cuts to it, so if you want to have like a swimmer's cut, which is a little bit more aggressive cut on the inside, so shouldering a rifle isn't as awkward. There's cuts for females, or different bends for females that have larger breasts, or their chest circumferences are larger up here, and they've got a thinner waist. They can form to that particular body type. Once you get into some of the cons to wearing rifle rated threats, some rifle rated plates. The first is definitely going to be the weight. Each one of these plates weighs about 6.5 pounds. And that doesn't seem like much. I'm at 13 pounds with just the plates. That definitely adds up though. You throw on the carrier's probably 2 or 3 pounds. Each magazine's a little over a pound, depending on what other gear I have. If I've got a couple, if I've got my med kit with me, or my med bag, that med bag's like 20 pounds or something. So it all kind of depends on what you wear, but it's definitely heavier. Along with that, if you're wearing a heavier load, it means you can't run as fast. It means you can't fight as hard, and it means that you have the potential to get snagged up on stuff. lot easier with the bulkier kit than if you do wearing something more slick or wearing a soft armor type vest. Some other cons, kind of, along with getting caught up and stuff, if you're ever in a firefight or whatever, getting down low to the ground or getting, the closest to cover as you possibly can, you're not able to do that as well due to the fact that these are just bulkier. There's no way around that. AR magazine's about an inch thick, your plate's probably another inch thick, and the carrier on top of that's probably another inch. So you're probably looking close to 3 inches between your body and the ground. That may not be a big deal for most people, but if you're ever in that situation, the lower the better. So you've got that going for you. Cons, again, it's hot. And you can get fatigued a lot easier with the weight on there. But I think one of the biggest ones, in my opinion, and this isn't true for every carrier system that you have, but for this particular one, there's shoulder pads, there's a buckle, and then the edge of the plate is right there. So when you're shouldering a rifle, you got to train on how that sits. If you're trying to back that in, so you're on the outside of the carrier closer to your shoulder, or if you're going right over that, that's another aspect of training that you have to incorporate, right? You can't train without a vest on and then expect to have your times be just as quick or you to be just as accurate, everything to be perfect if you don't train with the equipment that you have. I think that about does it for pros and cons of a rifle or rifle plates. So let's move on to soft armor. Soft armor, again, is pretty much handgun threats and down, or like 44 Magnum, 22 long rifle, everything in between. And that kind of depends on what level of vest you have, whether it's 2, 2A, 3, 3A. There's different levels of protection. This particular model, I do have some stab protection as well. It kind of depends. You might need to add a plate made out of polymer, or spend a little bit of extra money to get a material that is resistant to stab threats. But past that, you get what you need. The first and biggest advantage to wearing soft armor or a vest similar to this is going to be that, I don't have the statistics with me, but I would think, aside from the military, I bet probably upwards of 90% of all instances where body armor has saved a life, it's been from some sort of handgun or stab protection, or a stab threat. Just because, that's the most common, I guess, weapon of choice for criminals is going to be some sort of handgun. Whether it's 45 ACP, 9mm, 380 auto. This particular vest will stop all of that. Even knife threats, this will give you protection from slashing motions, as well as it's like 80 pounds of pressure with a pointed object. Stab protection is a whole nother video, but I can pretty much stop shotgun or 12 gauge shotgun slug, or everything from 12 gauge shotgun slug to a 22 long rifle without any problems. The other pros to wearing soft armor are going to be concealability. This doesn't apply to law enforcement and military. Most people know that they have some sort of ballistic protection, but if you have a panel that goes inside your backpack, or if you're doing personal security details, or something where you don't want people to know that you're armed or that you're protecting somebody or yourself, having it concealed is a huge advantage, right? That means if there's somebody targeting you, they're not immediately going to aim for your head. They're probably going to aim for the easiest shot, which is going to be center mass. Most people can't think that well or shoot that well when they're under a huge amount of stress and kind of a chaotic environment, but you know, there might be that guy that is. So there, you got that going for you. Another advantage to soft armor is it's going to be lighter. This entire vest is about 5.5 pounds. That's with the trauma pad, the armor, and the carrier. This entire vest weighs less than 1 pound, or less than 1 plate with my plate carrier system. So you know, you can move faster. You can you know, run farther. You can do everything that you can pretty close to how you would be able to do it without wearing any armor at all. You know, soft armor fits a lot tighter than it does, or than a plate carrier does, right? You know, this isn't sticking out nearly as far as a plate carrier. It's all nice and tight. There's elastic bands on, you know, the inside. There's a cummerbund, and then you've got, you know, kind of elastic on the left and right sides. Now, with that, it depends on the vest, and it depends on how it's cut and fit for you, but you don't necessarily have protection on, you know, your sides. Some do, where you have overlapping, you know, between the front and back panel where it protects your sides. This particular model does not, but you know, you can fix that with, you know, getting one that does. With a plate carrier, you can add something like this. This is a side plate to add that extra protection from your sides, but not every plate carrier has that, or you need to buy those additionally. You know, going toward the kind of cons of having a soft armor vest are going to be, in my experience, it's a lot hotter to wear one of these, or a soft armor vest, compared to a plate carrier for the same amount of period of time. That's just due to the fact that they fit a lot tighter and closer into your body, because, or you know, just the way that it fits. It's all elastic, right? It's held right up close to your chest and back, trapping all that heat to you. You know, that's just been my experience. Might be different for other people. I'm sure there's a couple of products out there that might help. A lower threat protection vest might be cooler. It all kind of depends, but it's in my experience, it's hotter to wear this for 8 hours than it is to wear that for 8 hours. Some more cons. You know, this vest isn't going to do you any good if you do end up facing, you know, a rifle threat. It can be, you know, something as simple as some guy's got a hunting rifle, or you know, if you're in the military, if you're facing, you know, AK-47s or PKMs or whatever. Those are going to pass right through through me, and probably out the other side without any signs of slowing down. So, you know, if you end up seeing one of those threats, having this on isn't going to do you anything. You might as well take it off. Another con to having a vest like this is, you know, the good ones are supposed to be fit to the actual person that's going to be wearing them. You know, there's certain levels of or certain kind of cuts to it. You want to be able to do certain actions or have certain mobility. You know, so the best way to do it is to get actually fit for it, and then they'll make one custom to your body type. But again, it's not completely necessary, but that's going to give you the most protection if it's properly fit to you. And if you don't have that, or if you change body types, if you lose a bunch of weight or gain a bunch of weight, you're going to have to get resized or buy a new vest. So there's that. Once you start talking about customization or adding extra gear and stuff, there's definitely carriers out there that allow you to have, you know, or that have pockets on them, that have whatever you need, but it's not nearly as quick. You know, you can obviously wear, you know, a chest rig. This is my Haley Strategic D3CR chest rig, and you definitely can wear it over the soft armor system if you're, you know, law enforcement responding to an active shooter, right? I'm going to go into that building, but I'm taking my primary weapon system with me, and I want a couple extra mags just in case. So I'm going to have to go into my car, and I'm going to have to get this out, throw it on, center it, and get the buckle clipped before I'm ready to go. As you saw, you can definitely do it in just a few seconds, but you know, what happens when those few seconds count? So you got to kind of take that into consideration. You can't, it all depends on what chest rig you're running, but you might not be able to have everything that you would like. This particular setup, I've got 4 primary mags, 2 sidearm magazines, a tourniquet for myself, some restraints, and I would put in some communication gear, but I currently don't have that right now. So that's that's the extent of what you can carry, and that's the extent of what I would have in that situation. So it all depends, but it's definitely harder to take on and take off, right? So that plate carrier, you got 1 clip, and you can throw it on over your head. This one, if we take, say we're in the chest rig, there are 2 Velcro straps that you got to take off. There's an internal cummerbund that you got to take off, and then you can take the entire vest off. But that just all comes into play. It fits tighter, and you can get lower to the ground. So that is what it is. But I think that kind of encompasses pretty well pros and cons of wearing soft armor and rifle plates. If you thought this video was cool, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.